Sonia Batoy, Columbus Technical College, CRN 12951. I remember hearing stories of really, really horrific accidents, plane crashes, train derailments, multiple vehicle accidents, only to hear that there were no survivors. Later, once they were interviewing people, you would hear people come up and say, "Oh my God, I was supposed to be on that plane," or "Something told me not to take that train that day." And even for the motor vehicle accidents, you hear people who would say, "I have always taken that route. For the last 5, 10 years, I've taken that same route to work or that same route home every day." But for some reason that day, they decided to take a different route. Was that their intuition, or was that logic? Intuition is a word that's not widely accepted in many communities, the medical community, scientific community, because they deal more on fact. And some areas where the intuition is used more on a consistent basis would be like investment banking, investors rather, I should say, and law enforcement. Aristotle stated that there is nothing in the mind that is not in the senses. During my research, I decided to see exactly how many publications I can find on intuition. So I looked at Borders. Borders had 267 listings, and Amazon.com had over 36,000 listings for intuition. Let me tell you a story of when I really started believing in intuition. My sisters and I were a lot younger. You know, we were in middle school. They were in high. I was in middle school. They were in high school. And you know, our typical day, we all got ready together. My mom left out a few minutes before we left. You know, everybody staggered out of the house. We'd come home, and as long as our chores were done and we'd done our homework, we were allowed to go outside. But this particular day, my mother said on her way out the door, "Don't go outside today." Well, one of my sisters questioned that, and my mother said, "Just don't go outside today until I come home." Well, we went on about our day at school. We came home, made sure, had the snack, made sure chores were done, did her homework, and one of my sisters, the same sister who questioned why she couldn't go outside, went outside. Not 10 minutes after she had left to go outside to ride my bike at that, you heard screams and a lot of commotion. She had been in an accident on a bike and has sustained some really bad injuries, especially to her foot. That was like the insight, the enlightenment that was a mother's intuition had kicked in. It was her gut feeling. Nothing that she knew was going on that day or something she didn't want us to participate in. She just had a feeling that day that we needed to stay in the house, and that's what she told us. And her intuition. But that was an example of mother's intuition. I'm going to explore a little bit of the differences in intuition versus logic. My resources were Encyclopedia Britannica, Webster's Online Dictionary, and the website for the University of Philosophical Research. Intuition was defined as without fact, observation, reasoning, and or experience. An example of that would be you have a function that you're going to go to. You've planned on going to this function for weeks. You've got a new outfit, you've got your babysitter together, everything's set for you to go. Closer it comes to the time for you to go to this event, you start having that feeling. And it's like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll go, I'm not sure. The day arrives, the day of the event arrives, I should say, and the feeling is even worse. It's like, you're weighing the pros and cons. Okay, well, I have this, I have that. Well, why shouldn't I go? And it's just that feeling inside that tells you not to go. So you don't go. You find out the next day that at the time you were planning to leave to go to that particular function, on the route you were expecting to travel on, there was a really bad accident. Was that intuition that kept you from going there that day, or was it logic? That was an example of your intuition. Logic is defined as deriving at a conclusion from given information and or acceptable reasoning. Example of using your logic. You want to buy a car, and the car you see that you really, really like is $45,000. You keep looking, and a car that will fit all your needs and still look good, $25,000. You go home, you crunch your numbers, and you see by the time you add in all your expenses and insurance and all that, that if you purchase that $45,000 car, it's going to leave you scrimping and finding it hard to make ends meet. So you come to the logical conclusion that you should buy the $25,000 car. That was not intuition. In that situation, that was using logic because you had numbers and reasoning. The word intuition will probably always, always be something of debate because a lot of people don't believe that intuition has anything to play with making a rational, mature adult decision. I myself, I totally 100% agree that we should follow our intuition. At the same time, we should use our learned and practical logical reasoning. So, for that reason, I think that it is wonderful and the absolute best way to make a decision is to use a combination of logic and don't forget the intuition.